And we are live. Facebook ads 2019. Facebook ads, the way that my business is run, basically, right? Instagram too, YouTube too, Google too, but mostly all the visibility, all the customers, all the activity, all the leads that I'm getting for my businesses are coming from Facebook ads. And a lot of you are in the same spot. So I've teamed up with the best in the game, Molly Pittman, to teach a course, and there she is. She's about to come on here. She's on silent right now. We did a course called Train My Traffic Person, and it's an intensive, a mentorship. It's 13 weeks that brings you through how to run Facebook ads effectively for a business. It's like a mentorship, it's not a course. And we did a webinar last week and there were a lot of questions, so we decided to do a Facebook Live where we're gonna answer your questions, but I wanted to quickly let you know that above this post, you can see a link to the sales page if you're interested in that mentorship, if you already know about it, if you're not new to the broadcast, you can click that link, smartmarketer.com/Molly, and we've introduced a payment plan, a 3-pay over 30 days or something. So that's pretty exciting. And with that said, I want to verify that we actually are live. Molly, you give me a thumbs up if we're live. Hey, we are. So Molly, I'm going to bring you on now. So let's switch to you coming on.
Howdy. Hey, how's it going?
Going really well. How are you?
We figured this Facebook Live thing out again. Usually when we go live, it's easier because I'm with you.
Yeah.
So this added a little complexity. And yeah, I'm in Utah right now, guys. There was 2 feet of snow in the last day or two. So I'm all bundled up.
2 feet?
2 feet.
That is wild.
Never seen that much snow before. But yeah, happy to be here, guys. Like Ezra said, we did what I think was a really fun and awesome webinar last week. Thanks for all the good feedback for those of you guys that showed up. I think it went like 2.5 hours. You and I can always just keep talking about this stuff. But definitely check out that replay if you're interested. And Ezra, I think the link for that is trainmytrafficperson.com/replay.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, we'll put it in the comments. John Grimshaw is awesome in the comments.
Yeah, totally.
He can let you know about the replay. But yeah, like Ezra said, today we just want to update you guys, give you a little bit of content, show you some examples of some things we've been doing, and especially doing in preparation for this year, right? But Train My Traffic Person, the mentorship that Ezra mentioned, we are going to be closing signups for that on Monday. We'll quit accepting new students. So we just wanted to let you guys know that's coming up. And if you do want to learn media buying, you want to become a better media buyer, you want to train your media buyer, definitely go to smartmarketer.com/Molly. And we heard you guys that the one-time payment was a little bit too much for some of you, which we totally understand. So as Ezra said just a few minutes ago, we added a 3-pay option. So if that makes it easier on you guys, I hope that makes it easier for you guys.
For sure. And I think that we'll get into, actually, after we talk a little bit about what's going on in Facebook for 2019, we'll get into some of the differences between Train My Traffic Person and Traffic MBA Video Ads Mastery, for example, or some of the other courses we've had in the past. But I think we wanted to start by sharing your screen and talking about some of the changes in Facebook ads this year.
Yeah. So if you guys were on the webinar last week, I think you heard this message loud and clear. But something that Ezra and I have both figured out, and I think most Facebook advertisers have, is that a lot of stuff changed on Facebook last year, right? And, things are always squishing. Things are always changing, right? But not the shift that we saw last year. And a lot of that was because of the whole Cambridge Analytica data breach, and Facebook was really in the spotlight from the general public, right? And people, there was a lot of scrutiny, right? There was almost a lack of trust, from the public towards Facebook. And so they've realized that they have to make changes way more than just releasing new features for us advertisers, right? They kind of need to change their model in a way. And so what we've seen across the board is that things are definitely changing. And the reason for that is that Facebook's algorithm is now very much optimizing towards social proof and the experience of the end user, because they realize that if, the end user doesn't like the ads they're seeing, they're probably going to spend less time on Facebook, right? And so what we've seen is that strategies that used to work in the past, like super direct response stuff, it's really hard to find success with that nowadays, right? So we just wanted to show you guys some examples of what is working right now, and just some of the changes that we've seen and what that means for you guys. Is that what you're thinking, Ez? And
Yeah,
of course, we're here to take questions too.
So, yeah, we're definitely going to take questions. And before you share your screen, I want to comment real quick on anytime. So you and I have been in this game a long time. I've been running ads online since '05. It was
Dang.
Google AdWords. It was Pinterest and Facebook, Display Network, whatever. But every time there's a major change, people freak out. But actually, it's an opportunity, because the reason that Facebook is changing is so that they can serve their customers, i.e. every person who's not running ads,
Totally.
better, right? And so
Yep.
it's better for us, actually, as marketers, to have folks who are engaging with Facebook, like regular folks who are not marketers, happier with the platform and happier with the ads that they're seeing, and having their feedback about ads incorporated into the ad algorithm, which is, the simple way of saying this is story, content, simple, real, social proof, engagement, all the stuff we're going to be talking about. It's like real connections with real people about stuff they actually care about, and it's not old school buy my shit.
Totally. And, we've seen this change happen over the last 5 to 7 years, but now it's no longer an option, right?
Yeah.
And so, really the two big changes. The first one we talked about is social proof, right? And being personal, everything that Ezra just said. A few years ago, Facebook rolled out a relevance score, which is a score from 1 to 10 that basically tells you how well your ad is relating to the audience. How are they responding? Do they like this ad? Are they having a good experience? And now that is more important than ever. And really, the metrics that Facebook has to judge, to come up with that relevance score, mostly comes back to social proof, right? So people sharing your ad, people reacting to your ad, people commenting on your ad, that's more important than it ever has been in the past, right? And the other thing the second point we really want to make is that Facebook has gotten a lot smarter over the last year too, probably exponentially smarter than I've ever seen the algorithm develop. But they've gotten smarter, so that has really changed our strategy around things like audience sizes, right? You guys will hear Ezra and I talk about this more in a few weeks, but I dove into his ad account for Boom, and Ezra had all this really advanced targeting setup.
I was
right?
very proud of this, by the way. Just saying.
Very proud. And it was awesome. But the problem was that your audiences were so small. Facebook was really having trouble optimizing your ads, especially because you were mostly optimizing for conversions, right? So then we broaden those audiences out and you start to get more traction and a lot more volume, right? So what's interesting is 2 years ago, I remember, Ezra, you and I recorded a video about targeting for one of your trainings. And I've always taught targeting to be very, very specific, right? And I still think you have to be specific in your targeting research, right? And understanding your market. But if you're launching an ad set that has 50,000 people in it and you're not a local business, Facebook's going to have trouble with that because they just don't know what to do with such a small audience size, right? So now some of my ad sets have 30 million people in them, right? 2 or 3 years ago, I would have been like, no, don't do it, right? Because Facebook wasn't as smart then. They needed you to tell them exactly who to show the ad to. So I think it's really two things. It's number one, everything is about social proof. And I'm about to show you an example of that. And not just social proof, but what you talked about as being personal, right? It's more important now than ever for your ads to really look and feel like a native post, right? If you guys go to my Facebook page, I posted a few days ago a screenshot of someone who saw one of Ezra and I's ads. And I'll show it to you here in a minute, but it was a story, right? Like we just told a story in this ad, and the person commented that they saw the post, they read the story, they were really compelled, and they were feeling guilty because they were like, I don't remember meeting Molly. Like, I don't know when we became Facebook friends. Like, how do I not remember this person? And then he realized, oh shit, this is an ad, right? And so even if you're a brand and not a personal or public figure, this is so, so important. So Ez, do you want me to show some examples right now? Do we have any questions? We got people on live with us.
Yeah, thank you everyone who's showing up live, by the way. We really appreciate it. We are going to take your questions in a moment here. But I think first, Molly, let's go to your computer and let's have you show some stuff, and then I'll show some stuff, and then we'll start taking questions.
For sure. So this is a campaign that I recently ran. I'm going to open this here. And this was for a docuseries about the ketogenic diet. Really good time of year to run ads for this type of offer, right? Just because people are looking to get in shape and get healthy. But the way that I ran this campaign will show you, what we mean by the 2 points that I just made, right? And so overall, if you guys signed up for the webinar, we promised to show you last week a campaign that I ran that generated 50,000 leads in 12 days. This is part of that, right? So this one did a little over 26,000. And you'll see in here that those other 50,000 leads were sort of spread out among these campaigns, which we'll talk about later. But the first thing I want you guys to notice, and why I think this works so well, was back to using larger audience sizes, especially after you have some data on your pixel, right? After Facebook really has a good idea of who this person is that's taking this action. So you can see that we're getting people to opt in here. We just set up a custom conversion on the landing page.
Can you zoom in a little bit, Molly?
Yeah, of course.
Thanks.
People always tell me that. I don't know why. My screen is always ant-like.
You have great eyes. You've got
I just had
eagle
LASIK
vision.
last year. So
oh, well, there you go.
Why. So you'll see that I have 7 ad sets here. These are all to cold traffic. And this time last year, I probably would have had 50 ad sets, right? Because I was trying to make the audience sizes small, make the audiences very specific. But these are much bigger because Facebook has gotten smarter, and the bigger audiences are actually allowing me to scale at a very quick rate. Those 50,000 leads that I told you about were generated in just 12 days, right? Before last year, using older strategies, it probably would have taken me twice as long. So you can see this first ad set as, this has 35 million people in it, right? And I'm just using audience targeting, interest targeting here, which is something I love to teach and talk about. We go really in depth inside of Train My Traffic Person. There were a few people who just through doing the targeting exercises that I taught in the course were able to cut their CPA in half just from better targeting, right? But targeting is everything. But you'll see, since this is the keto diet, I'm targeting Atkins diet, different interests around the keto diet, apps that they're using, ketone bodies. So this is all about ketosis and the Atkins diet. You can see that this other ad set here, this one's a little bit over 5 million. So it's smaller, but it's still bigger than I would have used before, right? And this one, this is interest all around GMOs. What I found is that people that are really passionate about, against GMOs, they're interested in the keto diet. This one performed really well, but I definitely had to spend a lot of time on interest research to find some of these interests. These didn't just, come off the top of my head, right? This ad set's a little bit more about low carb, about weight loss, 25 million people here. Okay, you can see this next one. This is more around paleo interest, 21 million. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that these audience sizes are much bigger than they used to be, right? And this has allowed us to scale, as I said earlier. But also back to the idea of social proof. So before, we might have tested 10 different ads in each ad set, right? I even see people test 50, 60, 70 ads in an ad set. And that can be okay when you're testing, but when you're wanting to scale like I did here, the more ads that you produce, the more that you're distributing your social proof across different post IDs, right? Which is not good for you. Like that's not what you want to do. You want to keep that relevance score high. You want to try to aggregate as much social proof as possible. So inside of each of these ad sets, I have the same 2 ads. Only 2 ads. And the reason for that is because I want to aggregate this social proof. And so you can see the real reason, other than the targeting, that this campaign was such a success was because of the social proof, right? You see over 21,000 reactions, 11,000 shares, which I said that's the most important aspect. And you can see here that our share to reaction ratio is about 50%, which is really, really good. If your
Molly,
ratio,
can you touch base on that a little bit? Go a little bit deeper on the share to reaction ratio and like ways that people can encourage shares, comments, likes.
Totally. So, the share to reaction ratio is something that Facebook's looking at to look at the strength of the social proof, right? And so if it's 20, 30, 40, 50%, that is really, really good. And what I mean by that is, the amount of shares compared to the amount of reactions, right? So 11 divided by 21, rough math, that's about 50% ratio, right? And so this is something that Facebook's definitely looking at, and also comments, but more so share to reaction. And so you don't want to ask people directly to share your material or to share your ad, in the ad, because it takes away from your CTA and it's against, terms of service. But if you use an ad that feels very native, so it either feels like a personal story that could help someone else, right? Because think about it. Why is someone sharing something? They're sharing something because they want other people to see it, right? They want their friends to see it. They think that it is valuable enough of a message that their friends should also see that post. Or they're sharing it because they feel like it's a reflection of themselves. Does that make sense? And so if you can appeal to either of those reasons that someone would share, they're going to share, even if you don't directly say, share this ad. And so, for example, here, this is almost a 4-minute video that's a trailer for this film. There's content in this video. Like you could get value just from watching this video, right? The offer's great. It's a free viewing. We're not asking them to buy anything. This is very shareable, right? Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. It's like the goal is engagement, sharing, and also having people consume so that they're willing to take the next step, which is clicking the ad and going off to the landing page. Because a lot of people are watching on mobile, will you zoom in even more so we can actually look at the ad unit itself for the folks on mobile who can see the, I'm controlling the screen here, so I'll be able to move your video so that it doesn't overlap. Zoom in a little bit more and then scroll up, a little bit more, scroll up, a little bit more, down, I apologize. Perfect, right there. So now that's pretty clear on the mobile device. It's clearer anyways, the like, share, comment section. Because I think that this really is something that if you're going to be an advertiser in 2019 and you want to get results, you have to get this. That old school, super loud, aggressive ads are not going to get reach. They're not even going to get served. Like the goal now is reach optimization. So the goal, what I mean by that is you want to set your ads up from the beginning so that Facebook will show them to people. And Molly tore down my ads. She tore my ads campaign apart. We spend millions and millions of dollars a year on some ads. We do a really good job, but we were actually sabotaging ourselves in terms of not even being able to get reach, which Molly will explain now here in a minute.
Absolutely. And Ezra, like, I'm going to pull up another example just for listeners out there. I screenshotted this and sent it to you earlier. This is another really awesome example of this, right? So this is a hunt a killer game.
Will you pull it over to the right a little bit more?
Of course. So I'm not quite sure about it looks like a game of Clue for adults, right? But what you can see, can you guys see this as?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So what you can see already is the social proof is great, right? The shares could be higher, but dang, there are a lot of comments here. There are more comments than there are reactions. And they've used this very personal photos. So I sent this to John Grimshaw earlier and he said, wow, I thought for a second that was like some of my friends, like that's a photo that I would scroll through my newsfeed and think that a friend posted this. So it's not super salesy. It's not a product image of this game, right? And all the pieces and cards that come with it. It's just two people that catch your attention. It looks very native, right? And this ad copy is pretty native too, right? It's not too salesy. And they're getting a ton of social proof. And that's why this is working. Another example, so I'll show you guys this other ad that we ran. It was very simple. Just testing a bit of different copy and a different video variation. But again, this works so well. Look, 8.2 thousand shares, 13,000 reactions, almost 3,000 comments. This was really easy to have success with because as soon as we launched the campaign, these were ads that I ran last year. Right. And so I just grabbed those post IDs, as you can see right here, and used the same ads that I was using last year. And they came out of the gate. It's January. Ad traffic is as cheap as it's going to be all year. Facebook is really optimizing for social proof. I gave them some big yet very targeted audiences to play with. And this was a dream campaign because it came right out of the gate just hot, right? Because it already had about half of the social proof than you see here from last year. So Facebook was like, wow, people must love this. The targeting was good. They had enough room to breathe. This was a huge success. And then just to show you guys another example, these are the ads that Ez and I ran to the webinar that we did last week. And so these, we hadn't done that before. So we didn't have ads that already had social proof on them. But the way
live cold and live warm, right?
Yeah.
Down
right here.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have social proof to leverage. So what we did, we used the same strategy, but we had 4 ad sets, but they were pretty big, right? Like pretty big audience sizes. And then within each of these, again, just 2 ads. And what you'll notice is how personal these ads are. And I'm going to switch this to desktop so that we can see more of it.
And then have you zoom in a little bit more. Oh, you'll just go look at it?
Yeah, let's just go look at it since it's long. But I had people see the 2 ads that I'm about to show you and again, think that they were personal posts. This was a picture we took last month. We never meant to use it in an ad, but it was great. You're close up. Whenever you see humans this close up to the camera, it's very natural to stop. But again, it looks super personal. It looks very native, right? And I'm telling a story about the campaign that I just told you guys about and that we were hosting a training and that we wanted to, teach you guys what we had learned, right? Again, social proof really matters. This one didn't get as much as the other one, but, we got a lot of comments. Shares could have been higher, but all around, pretty good metrics here. And then the other one is even more story-based. And again, a very native photo that Colleen took this last year, never meant to have been an ad, right? Like notice that Ezra and I aren't using like professional photos that a photographer took of us. Like there's a time and place for those, but this works so well because it looks so native. And then here, I'm just telling a story about, I was a bartender in Kentucky, then I moved to Austin, I started working at DM, went out on my own, launched Train My Traffic Person with Ezra. So this is motivational to people. They want to celebrate others. Came up in the game, and then how that relates to our offer, right? And it doesn't always have to be about you, of course. Like you can also tell stories about your customers. But what is beautiful and what works about this is how native this looks. It's a story, it's a photo, and again, we have a lot of engagement here, 46 shares, 169 comments, and a lot of people are just giving their feedback, right? People love the course. People are proud of us. People love the story, right? Ryan says, "Who are we?" But
I texted him about that. I thought it was really funny. Hey, let me share my screen for a minute because I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate in a way. And show you, so Molly is on Zoom here. Let me just make sure you're still on Zoom. Okay, you are. So do you have access to the Facebook Live, Molly, where you can look at it? Because you can't see my screen while I'm sharing it out live. So get that going because I can still hear you in my ear. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show a little bit of e-commerce examples. And Molly, if you want to comment on it, you can watch the Facebook Live and then I'll put you back. So
awesome.
I have Molly in this ear. I'm talking to you. The audio is a little weird because I got one ear where I can hear myself as well. But let me share my screen, and I want to show a place. I want to show an area where Molly helped us improve our Facebook campaigns by actually creating targeting groups. So let's take a look. So here we are inside of Facebook, and the first thing that I want to do is refresh this page here and make sure that the Facebook Live is active on the fan page. And I'm gonna find out, sometimes during a Facebook Live, you can pin a comment. So, oh, look at that, you can. So I'm gonna make a comment here and I'm gonna pin it because I think that's a good strategy. And I'm gonna do that real quick. You're gonna actually see this little behind the scenes action here. And so, boom, look at that. So I made this comment. And now I'm going to pin that. So check that out. That's now pinned to the top of the live. It's got Molly's picture there. It's pretty sweet. So listen, let me show you this.
I figured out how to see your screen without hearing you double.
Yeah, how did you do that? You just muted it?
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at this real quick. So I'm going to hop in to our Facebook ads account here. And I'm going to open up a campaign, which is our top line. Now, if I look, and I'm going to zoom in so everyone can see it here. Okay, zoom in a little bit more, and I'm going to go last 30 days. And I want to show you that in the last 30 days, I'll zoom out just a little bit, this campaign has spent $365,000 to generate, let's see, 8,700 purchases at $41 a pop, which is really, really good for us. We're happy with that. Now, we had been, I'll go to the face to camera for this. I'm going to show you these ads in a minute. But we had been running to everyone in America who was a woman who was over 45, no targeting. And Molly said, hey, maybe you ought to actually introduce some targeting groups here. Now, before I show you the ad, I want Molly to explain. I'd love for you, Molly, if you could explain why you asked us to introduce targeting groups.
Of course. Yes. So, what's interesting, both launches that I just showed you, both campaigns I just showed you had an ad set in it that had no targeting, right? Because both pixels were seasoned and that could work. But what's interesting is that people think when they reach the point of I can use no targeting, that's the only targeting that they should use, because we're targeting all of America, right? But the issue is that is that you're actually only reaching a small part of your market when you do that. Because when you use no targeting and then you use the conversion objective, like you are, Ezra, Facebook's looking at everyone who has, engaged with that objective before, right? Everyone who's purchased from Boom in the past, and they're creating a data profile off of what does that person look like. Okay, now let's go out and find more of these people, right? That's why the no targeting can work. But like I said, yes, you'll be able to reach those people, but you're missing out on a huge part of your market of people that just don't fit that data profile that Facebook's looking for. Right. And so I'm saying you need to do it all, right? No targeting, lookalikes like you see Ezra using. They're becoming more powerful than they were last year. And interest targeting, like you guys saw me using in the keto docuseries launch. So something that Ezra and I are going to be working on in the next few weeks is getting some interest targeting for Boom, right? Because imagine the ad sets he has right now are just lookalikes. So we add the no targeting back in its own ad set. And then we add, 5 to 10 ad sets with some big interest targeting. And Ezra, this is even more scalable than before, right?
It's crazy.
Last year, you guys were getting similar CPAs, but your volume was so much lower because you were only limited to the people that matched up to that data profile, from people who had purchased. So
Right.
now by adding all of this other targeting, it's just allowing you to scale in a much bigger way.
Yeah, we had limited our ability to reach people in our audience, and we thought, hey, Facebook, give us everyone in America. But since we were optimizing for a purchase on our Facebook pixel, Facebook was only giving us people they thought would purchase, and we were missing out on a whole bunch of other people. So let me show you these ads real quick. So here we go. I still have you up here, Molly. Let me click the escape button. Now I want to add a counterpoint. So Molly was talking about super personal, super non-professional imagery, which is great. However, if you have compelling imagery that resonates with your target market, that has them feel good and represents them, that can also work. Let me show you. So here we are. I'm going to select these ads, 1% super, 2% super, and let me minimize this. So we have, oops, pardon me. Let's get the regular. Here, I got to fix this. Let me pop into a different one here. Campaigns.
As while you're doing this, if you guys are enjoying this, I know we're getting lots of good comments. Share it if you don't mind, so that we can help more people with this Facebook stuff.
Yeah, and if you missed that because you were looking at my screen, would you please share this post if you're enjoying it? Share this. The more you share it, the more people see it, which means we can help more people. So please like, comment, share, ask us a question. We'll respond to it. So before I show you these ads, I know I've been building up to I'm going to show you these ads. But before I do, I want to explain to you the concept of a super lookalike. So you'll notice the names here on these targetings is 1% super, 2% super, and we're still running to women over 45 in the United States. Let me show you that real quick. I'm just going to hop into this. I'm going to zoom in here. This is running to women in the United States, and it's excluding all of our lookalikes. So that's every woman over 45 in the United States who's not in one of our lookalikes. Now, let me explain to you what a super lookalike is, and then I'll show you the ads. So a super lookalike is, real quick, for those of you that don't know what a lookalike is where you upload your customer list and you say, hey, Facebook, give me a group of people who look similar to this group of people. You upload your email list, or you do it with your Facebook fan page. You say, all my fans, or anyone who's ever watched a video. You can create what's called a lookalike audience based on any data point that Facebook has. People who viewed your videos, people who are fans of you. So a super lookalike is a 1% lookalike. So it's giving you the top 1% of people who look like X data set, that's an X by the way, fans, buyers, subscribers, whatever, and all in one ad set. So look at this. This is what a super lookalike is. It's all of our 1% lookalikes, buyers, purchasers, lifetime customer value, all-time, and we're excluding buyers. So we have 3 lookalikes in one audience. We call that a super lookalike. All right, let's look at these ads. So I'm going to go into the ads real quick, and let's sort it by, first I'm going to change this to see my sales dashboard so I can see how many sales came in. And I'm going to sort it by number of purchases and go here. So look at this. Relevance score is 10. I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see this. It is very, very, very difficult to achieve a relevance score, this thing right here, of 10. Now let's look at this ad. So, simple headline, call to action, beautiful image, layover, and then call to action that says, ditch the eyeshadow. That is, for those of you that maybe are not in the cosmetic space, there's this debate about eyeshadow and whether you should use it if you're over 50. We have at our brand some opinions on that. And so we share those, and that's very controversial. And so all these comments are like, what do you mean ditch the eyeshadow? So people are kind of in an uproar about that.
And as really quick too, the reason this works so well is that you're giving really good content, you know?
Yes.
Like I said, you either need to give content, like that's more of what the keto docuseries was, right? It wasn't from Naomi, like I built this docuseries because this is my mission. You know, I went more the content route with that. And people are seeing, oh, he's giving me 5 makeup tips and it's a little controversial. So people want to comment. Holy crap, you know, now you've got all of this social proof and, you know, it's keeping your relevance scores high.
Yeah, for sure. I just actually put you back on the video, and then now I'm going back to the screen. So
I'm a little bit delayed, so
okay.
Not in the audio, but just in the video. But I know what you're showing anyways.
Cool. So I'm going to go back to this real quick. I'm going to keep showing you one or two more ads, and then we'll move on to another thing I want to show you. So back to the screen here. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm juggling a lot of technology. So this ad worked extremely well. So I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to go down. I'm going to show you another similar ad here. Relevance score 9. Still performed super well. I want you to notice a couple things. So this is like incorporating some direct response in as much as, let's go back to the image here. There's a border around the image. We have a really beautiful, nice headshot that is representative of the women that we're targeting. You'll notice that in our ads, we use people's faces that represent the people that we're attempting to target. We find that there's nothing more compelling than a person's face, it seems. It's nice to look at people's faces. And Molly, it's kind of funny, our ads also had people's faces in them.
Yep, totally.
Scrolling down, comments, shares, same headline. So we have, the point that I was trying to make with these particular ads, and I'll just see if there's another example of one in here. Let's take a look. Relevance score 9, similar, right? Is that these ads, and we can talk a little bit about this before I show the next thing, Malls, is they are using professional imagery. We're doing high quality design on them. We've found text layovers and colored backdrops with a person's face, as you just saw, to work extremely well. Now we have conversational ad copy. We link to content. We're not just trying to sell. When we're getting people's attention, now if they've seen our products, we're going to run ads that are about our products, which I'll show in a moment as well. But just want to make that point.
And Ezra, and that's such a good point too, especially when it comes to this social proof, storytelling, content giving strategy we're talking about. That is the most important at the top of the funnel, right? Especially to cold audiences. Your retargeting ads, the relevance scores still matter, but it's a bit of a different game when you get deeper in the funnel. Right.
Totally.
So it matters most on the front end when you're wanting to get all of this reach. I mean, Ezra, you said you've spent like $300,000. I can't see your screen, but I think that's what you said on that campaign. I don't think after doing our review, you spent that much in any month last year, possibly. Definitely not on one campaign or one ad like that.
Definitely
right?
not on one campaign.
Yeah. We talked about this in December. Ezra and his team deployed it. And then, I saw you last week and you were like, yo, I've never seen something scale like this. Right. And I really think it was just those few tweaks.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Opening up that audience funnel and also fishing, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about fishing in a minute, but I want to show a couple more examples of ads and then I want to take questions. So another thing that I want to show here that I think, because there's a good portion of my audience is e-commerce business owners, because that's my business model and that's what I talk about and that's what I share. And so I have been very anti doing email lead generation as a front-end acquisition model for an e-commerce business. Not anti in terms of not having seen that work, because some people do it and it works, but anti in terms of like my goal is always to set up a sales process that is story-based ad, content consumption to sale. I don't want to, and then while they're in my sales process, if they visit my pre-sale article or if they visit my sales page, sure, I have the opportunity to collect an email. I have exit intent, I have cart abandonment, I have email in the process, but I'm not leading with give me your email address and let me follow up with you, because I'm only selling a $50 product or a $100 product, whereas like with a more expensive item, you need a longer sales cycle, so you lead with the email, you build the relationship, and then you offer a sale. I have changed that view, and now I hold the viewpoint, and I'm going to show you this, that it is beneficial. After I look at my metrics over the last 5 years, I can tell you there is no more profitable source of visibility than people who are on my email list. Because people who get on my email list, I send them content, and then occasionally I say, hey, I have a product you might like. And so I've started running some lead generation campaigns. And the first one is a giveaway, and I want to show it to you real quick. So let's take a look. So go to campaigns. This is 1/16/19 trio lead generation. To just look at the lead dashboard real quick, see how many we bought. So we have bought 2,570 leads at 57 cents per lead. So real quick, for those of you that don't know, you're engaging with Smart Marketer right now. That's an information publishing business that has a bunch of influencers who create content. Me, Molly Pittman, Colleen Taylor, Brett Curry. It's a business where we share content with business owners about how to help them grow their business. We also have courses and trainings like the one that Molly and I just did together that we're about to launch again called Train My Traffic Person. But the point that I'm making is it is between $5 and $10 to buy an email address in the business owner market. Mm-hmm. Now here I'm seeing email leads for 57 cents. So let me show you who I'm targeting. Again, 1% lookalike of buyers, 2% lookalike of buyers. This is campaign budget optimization. So what that means is that the budget is set here on the campaign level, and the audiences are, then Facebook's going to decide how much it wants to give to each of these ad sets or audiences. So that's a different thing. That's letting Facebook determine which audiences get the visibility. And you can see that the 2% lookalike is a little more expensive per lead at 66 cents than the 1% at 59 cents, but it also has less leads. And now let's go look at the ads. So let's just pick up the ad that has the most leads, which is this one here. You'll notice it's a very similar layout. So it's saying, hey, do you want a boomstick trio? Now, one thing to note for us is like, if you're a woman over 50 on Facebook, you've seen my ads like 7 times. I've reached every woman in America and Canada over the last 5 years. I've spent like $15 million on advertising for this brand, and they all know who we are. They may have not bought from us yet. So we have this giveaway campaign here. Now, this is saying, hey, you get a free you can enter your email address to get a free boomstick. This week we're giving one away. Just enter your email address. Headline shows off our product. Nice blue background. You'll notice we're big fans of colored background. We tell them there's 4 ways to win and no way to lose. And then you'll notice that real quick, it's got good comments. It's got, what is that, like a 25% share ratio, engagement to share ratio. So let's take a look at the ad itself. Oops, let me actually go to it here and then I'll show you the landing page.
Hey, and after this too, we can show them the AdSumer report campaign. So like how we did get lead costs down in more of a B2B market.
Which is
and that
insane.
was again story based.
That was story based. All right, we'll show that next. So this is a landing page here. Real simple, boomstick trio giveaway, enter your email address, yes I want in, hero shot, and then gives them the other 4 ways they can win. And then when you enter your email address, don't email me please, it says thanks you're in, reminds them of the other ways that they can get in, and gives them some calls to action. Just a quick side note plug for one of my applications. I'm going to go to apps, and this is on Shopify. And I'm going to click on Zipify Pages, which is the page that the builder that this was built in. And you can see that this giveaway page is just a real simple Shopify page. You can see what it looks like here on in the editor. You can see on desktop, tablet, mobile. You can set up multiple versions of it. You can add other blocks if you want. It's a real sweet little editor for Shopify stores. And by the way, the reason why I'm showing you this, there's a lot to talk about with this editor. But the reason I'm showing you this is if you join Train My Traffic Person with Molly Pittman and I, you go to smartmarketer.com/Molly, I'm going to give you 3 months free of Zipify Pages. So that's kind of why I'm like showing it off. Awesome. But let me go back to this real quick. So the point that I wanted to make is 2 things. Once you actually enter your email address, we put you on an automation flow, and I'm going to show you that real quick. And that automation sends you an email, and this is what that email looks like. It just says, hey, outstanding, you're in. We're going to let you know if you win, and you can go over and check out the offer while you're waiting to find out if you win. Now, I want to show you something interesting. Big shout out to an error my social media manager made. My social media manager, Laura, who you'll meet on the Smart Marketer blog, made a mistake. And it turned out to be a real good one. And I told Laura, I'm not trying to call her out or shame her or anything. It's like, in email marketing, if you don't send the wrong email to everyone at least once, you're not doing email marketing. How many times have I sent Smart Marketer emails to Boom? It's just like, not a big deal.
Ezra messaged me a few days ago. I had the wrong URL linked up to an ad. It happens to all of us.
Okay, but let me show something. So look at this. So if I look at the analytics, why are there $500 in sales on this email? It doesn't make any sense. It's not a sales email. You just entered a giveaway. Well, it turns out, and if I go into this email and actually edit it, let me just edit this email real quick. I want to show you something. That the mobile version here, this mobile version, so Klaviyo, what we use, has a different editor for the mobile version of the email. And so Laura had accidentally left the mobile version from the old campaign because we duplicate campaigns, and the mobile version was from a previous giveaway. So after the giveaways, everyone who doesn't win, we say, hey, you didn't win, but here's 10% off, and we make a bunch of revenue from the people who didn't win, and then everyone goes on our email list and we send them content, and now they're a part of our database. But the mobile initial, so the initial email that you get, let me show this again, just to make sure it's clear. You come to the giveaway page, you enter your email address, you're supposed to receive this email here. But what happened was everyone on mobile received an email that said, hey, you didn't win, but here's 10% off. And so what we discovered was that instead of waiting to tell people that they can get 10% off, is immediately after they enter the giveaway, we're gonna say, hey, in case you don't win, here's 10% off. And then some people will win, and then the ones who don't will say, hey, by the way, you didn't win, here's your discount. So I don't know why I wanted to go into that story other than it's a cool little giveaway campaign.
Yeah, well, and you're generating these leads and you have a way to monetize them. I mean, because you have such a strong email strategy that you are going to monetize those leads, but it's cool to see like a simple giveaway have such, a return immediately, right?
It's crazy,
and
yeah.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah, Laura, it's really good because one of the things you didn't see was, check this out, on these ads. Let me show you something here, which is, we are not trying to make money on these ads. I'm going to zoom out. I want to show you this. Here we are. look, if we look at this campaign, we can see that we've spent 1,200, we've gotten 2,000 leads, but just on these ads, we've also made $243 in sales. So in addition to that 500 from email, we also made 243 immediately on just people going to our site.
Made half of your money back.
Half of our ad spend back.
Yeah.
When it's not even a direct response campaign. So I'm all for email marketing. You'll see a lot more email lead gen campaigns from us coming up.
And I think that's what's been cool about us working together, because I come from, I've run e-commerce ads before, definitely more so in the last year, but I come from a place of lead gen, right? And you come from a place of more of an e-com strategy, but we've been able to mold those together. And I'll show this campaign, and I don't know if you got the idea to do lead gen from Boom when you realized what we were able to do even in the B2B market, right? But it's always good to have a lead gen campaign running for your brand if you can afford it, because it's just building that email list. So
the email list is in every business model the most valuable asset.
Absolutely. And you can see even in the B2B market, which, as you said, this is usually really expensive. When I was a digital marketer buying traffic, 2013 to 2017, we were paying $3, $4, $5 a lead, right? And so in this market, Ezra and I expected, a $5 to $10 cost per lead. What's been cool, you guys can see this has been passively running.
Little bit there.
This has just been passively running, a little over 3,000 leads generated just from this campaign at $1.61 a piece. You and I were like,
so
whoa,
crazy.
And so these are just 4 ad sets, again, that are pretty broad, a lot of interest targeting here. And a lot of you guys know this market, so you won't be surprised by the interest targeting. But, Neil Patel, Ray Higdon, Russell Brunson. So we're targeting influencers in places that we know you guys are hanging out to get your advice. But inside of this ad, again, we just have 2 different ads, and the only difference is the creative. And Brittany made one and John made one, so that's why I named them Britt versus John. But you can see, number one, this offer is really good, right? So what this is a concept that Ezra and I came up with called an ad-sumer report. And we want to collect ads, a ton of different ads from different markets, put them into a document, analyze them for you guys so that you can see what other people are doing. So the offer is really good. That definitely affects it. But I think this copy, can you guys see this copy here?
Yes. Oh, wait, I'm covering it with your video. Hold on. Sorry.
Okay. I think this copy, again, is a real reason that this is such a winner. So instead of saying, look, I have this AdSumer report, it's so cool, here's all the awesome features, you should download it. We went, again, it's not really a story, but it's very conversational. Need inspiration for your next ad campaign. This AdSumer report is full of new ideas to get your advertising wheels turning again, right? So it's not about the AdSumer report, it's about them being a media buyer who might be stuck or who might want more ideas. And so I even refer to it as media buyer's block, right? And I say I've experienced it. And when I do, I usually turn to the newsfeed to study ads from other brands. It's how I get a lot of my ideas, so that's why we made the AdSumer report. And then, we gave them some ways that they could even use it, right? So, scroll through it, study each ad, take notes. You might love how they've created a list with emoji bullets in their ad copy, write it down, try it later. So I think that this has worked because, number one, this comes from a place of we really want to help you guys. And when you sit down and you go to that place of how can I best help the end user, I promise you your copy will be much better. That's just a fact. But also, if you can think about how do I turn this into a story, even if I'm just asking them to download a PDF, there can always be a story, no matter whether it's coming from a public figure, or a brand. But again, really nice social proof here. People love it. They're leaving comments. They're downloading. Our cost per lead is cheaper than I've seen ever in this market. And yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that as another example.
100.
As we're getting lots of comments. Thank you
think it's
guys for
time.
being here.
Yeah, thank you
And
so
again,
much.
we've talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the video, but Ezra and I are about to teach another class of Train My Traffic Person. So we held our first class at the end of last year.
Hey,
It
will
was
you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, it was probably one of the best experiences I've had in my career. So fun because it's a mentorship, like you said earlier, Ezra. Like you join the class, you fill out an intake form so that I can get to know you, your business, what you're really wanting out of the course. And then this course is taught live, right? It's not just videos that are being repurposed. This course is taught live and really crafted around the needs of the students. So we added a payment plan, a 3-pay payment plan to make it easier for you guys. And we will be accepting students up until the end of day Monday, unless we get to a point where we feel like the class is too big to serve everybody. But head over to smartmarketer.com/Molly. I would love to have you guys. It's a really fun course. Mentorship, class, experience.
There's really nothing like it. There's no other place where you're going to get every week an hour to 2 hours of actual training, and then the ability to bring your work to the table and get feedback and questions answered in a separate call. It's a real mentorship. We think of it like going to school. Like our goal when we started this was to give people an opportunity to have access to a career in digital, because the digital medium has afforded Molly and I a lifestyle that we never could have dreamed of. And it's given me the ability to employ 81 people on my team all around America and in other countries, and take care of my family and support my community and take resource that I've generated and put it towards causes that I find noble. And I'm able to do all of this because I have a command over advertising, sales processes, e-commerce. I understand how to run a business in a digital environment. And one of the major parts of it is understanding how to be an advertiser, how to get your message out in a way that is effective and profitable. And that's what this training is about. It will give you, if you're already good at ads, you'll get way better. And if you don't know ads yet, you'll be able to leave this thing and go and run ads for a company or yourself. It's literally Train My Traffic Person. Now, you could be the traffic person that we are training, or you could have someone who is a traffic person who you want to bring up in the game, someone who's already on your team, who already runs ads, who wants to get better at it, or someone who you want to play that role for your company, and you can put them through this training, and by the time they're done, they can manage your ads ongoingly.
Yeah.
It's nothing like it.
You know, Ezra, Meryl from the last class, Meryl, we love you. She said that was the best part of the class, so much feedback. And so the way we've structured it is that you're live with me for 3 hours for 15 weeks. So it's a lot. But if you feel like you're already an advanced media buyer, I've been getting the question, you know, I'm already pretty advanced. Will this help? It's hard for me to tell without knowing exactly where you are, but I do know that the mentorship aspect of the class will help you no matter what. Because even if you're not consuming the content that I'm teaching, getting on the feedback calls and having myself and Ezra critique your ad copy and your campaign structure, that is where a lot of the value comes from. So a huge part of this class is access, and we believe that this is the best way to teach this information for someone to really get the most out of it. So I know that question's going to come up, like how advanced. Someone said, I'm really new to this. If you're really new to this, go through the Facebook Blueprint free course first, so you at least understand the language of what I'm speaking to. But the beauty of this is that the content really speaks to people that are in the middle, right, of their skills. But the mentorship, that aspect can be leveraged by anybody.
Absolutely. Hey, Molly, I just want to call out a couple people who've joined since we started this. We start taking questions here in a minute. But
you and I have just been going.
Just going.
I can't see many of the comments. So you'll have to let me know.
Yeah,
I've
well,
got
real
a
quick,
guys. I'm running a watch party on my personal Facebook page right now to
that's
get
happening?
people on here. And so my phone, I can't use my phone, but we'll have to teach people about watch parties. It's cool. I'm seeing it on my personal page. People
I want to
are
run a watch
watching.
party.
Yeah, we'll do it next time for our
All right.
Facebook Live.
Because I have a
We'll
personal page.
invite people for sure.
So Don Crowther just joined. Thank you.
Don, happy to have you, buddy.
Connor Peterson just
Connor.
joined. Renee Van Winkle. Thanks for joining. All right, so I'm going to pull up the questions then because I am able to see them.
Awesome.
And let's take a look at what we got in terms of questions. So, hey, if you have a question, we're at the part of the show where we're going to take your questions and answer them. You could call this arrogant or egotistical, perhaps, or however you want to label it. I do hold the viewpoint that there currently is nobody better to teach you Facebook advertising for e-commerce and lead generation / information publishing and software as a service than me and Molly. Combined, we have spent about $30 million in the last 3 years on ads for our own stuff and for digital marketer stuff. And we know it super well. And we love it. We're super into this. Like, we love it. And we talk about it and we message each other about it. And it's like, we're nerds. Okay. So,
and we want to nerd out with you.
we do. And so,
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. I mean, I was making the point. I was making this point, which was, I think we're the best at this. And I also recognize that I don't have an objective viewpoint. And I don't just run around thinking I'm the best at everything. I don't have that thing going on where I just think I'm better than everyone at everything. No, that is definitely not the case with me. However, in this one regard, I do hold the viewpoint that we are the best. And so, if you want to ask us stuff, do it now. We're here. Ask us things. We're going to answer them.
We're hanging out. And you guys might see John Grimshaw in the comments. John works with Ezra and I. So if he's answering your question, that's coming from us too. John's in there crushing the comments as. But I agree.
Thank you, John.
That's something we've decided to, you can't be good at everything. And Facebook ads, since the moment that I first saw the boost post button, right, I was hooked by the idea of Facebook ads. And this is something Ezra and I have dedicated a huge part of our lives to understanding paid traffic, but also to teach you guys, because I really don't think there's a more valuable skill in business right now.
Yeah, me neither. All right, let me see if I can find some questions.
Let's
and hey,
do it.
Grimshaw, if you would, I have my phone here. Why don't you Slack me questions, bro? That would be super helpful because I'm struggle city out here trying to find these questions in this feed.
Yeah, and I can see a few right now as someone's asking if you're hiring.
I am hiring. I'm going to post. Okay, I'm hiring a lot these days. I just hired someone to be a customer support advocate for Zipify apps. I have a couple openings. I have a copywriter opening. I have a project manager opening. I'm going to be posting links on my Facebook, my personal Facebook profile and my work Facebook profile that you can fill out. They go to a little workable thing where you can fill it out. I'll post, follow my feed and you'll see it.
Yeah, for sure. A few people asked if I'm cold. Yes, I'm in Utah right now and there's 2 feet of snow outside. It is very cold. All right, Ez, we're starting to get some good questions coming in.
Okay, because I can't see them now. So I've lost all the questions. I don't have them.
Okay, so would you consider your email list more valuable than your messenger list? Absolutely. But in a different way, right? Messenger has such high open rates and engagement rates because it's not a crowded platform, right? But your messenger list is also owned by Facebook and it could be gone tomorrow, right? Not that you shouldn't build it, but you do have to understand that risk. So what I've seen, and Ezra, you definitely have data on this too, is that Messenger is more valuable from an engagement standpoint, where email is still a huge lever for revenue. also because you can be so much more promotional in email. So I always say both, right? What I've started doing is adding, ManyChat has something called a checkbox growth tool. It gives you a little snippet of code that creates a checkbox with someone's Facebook profile name next to it if they're logged in. And so if you're having someone opt in on a landing page, for example, for a lead magnet, like Ez, you could add this to your contest. You just add the little messenger checkbox so that you're getting the email. And if they click messenger, you're getting messenger too, right? So it's great to have both.
There's an app called Recart that does that. It'll collect the email address and messenger ID at the same time.
There you go. Yeah. So, I think they're very different, and you have to understand the benefits of both of them and how they work together. And we do a whole week on messenger bots and messenger marketing inside of Train My Traffic Person. So head over to smartmarketer.com/Molly to learn more about that.
And I now do have questions coming in on my phone here from John Grimshaw. So, question that we got that I think you can answer easily, Molly. What tool do you use to analyze other people's ads? Now, before you answer that, I want to say, go download our free AdSumer report, because we've done this for you, which is at somewhere, some URL that I don't have that John Grimshaw will post in the comments. Tell them about the new Facebook thing.
So in the last few months, Facebook's added a tab on every Facebook page called Info and Ads.
We can probably look at it, right?
I'm looking at yours right now, Ez.
Do you want me to share my screen and we can look at it?
Yeah, or I can share mine since I got it up right now.
You share your screen.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Wait, you're about to show everyone all the ads I'm running? Damn.
It's happening. Let's go to Boom, actually. I think that might even be...
Boom is going to have crazy stuff in there. It's kind of a lot.
So what's really cool is you can go to a Facebook page now and click this Info and Ads tab, and that's going to allow you to see all of the active ads that are running from that company at a given time. So it's a great way to do competitive analysis, to get ideas for ads. And this is really the concept behind the AdSumer reports that we were talking about, because, anyone can go click Info and Ads and screenshot everything, but we're building like 200-page reports. Like, Ezra, you don't know this yet, but there's actually one being created right now for the cosmetic and skincare industry.
Ooh.
So it's going to be 200 pages of ads from some of the top brands in the industry, from some little guys in the industry, with an analysis of, here are the opportunities in this market. Here's what they're all doing, that's similar, right? And here's how this applies to, other industries and the ads you guys are running. But I love, this has made research so much easier. You can just scroll through, all the ads that particular company is running at the time.
And the next question is, on my retargeting campaign, I have low relevance scores, but a high video percentage watched and clicked. Is this because the audience size is small?
No, the relevance score really doesn't have anything to do with the audience size. It's probably because people aren't engaging, like we talked about earlier. They might be watching the video, but they're not sharing or commenting or liking. That has a huge effect on it. It also could be that you are getting reported as spam, right? Like, that is why relevance scores and retargeting ads tend to be lower, because some people just don't even understand how advertising works, right? So they go to a site and then they hop back over to Facebook, they see an ad from that brand and they think it's creepy, so they mark it as spam, right? Also, we tend to be a little bit more direct in our retargeting ads. So the relevance scores are usually lower because you're not getting as much social proof and because you're probably getting more negative feedback on those posts.
For sure. Here's a question that I will tackle, which is, should I learn ads myself, or should I pay someone in my company to learn it? And I think that really depends on a couple of factors. So one is, your level of interest in the subject. If you find ads compelling and engaging and you're interested in learning about them and you want to understand how it all works, I highly suggest that you develop some level of proficiency in the subject matter so that when you do eventually have someone on your team who you're bringing up to do it, who you put through our course, because we're the best at teaching it, you know how to talk to them about it, see what's going on, you have some concept about it. The second reason is nobody cares about your money as much as you do. You care more about your resource than anyone else. And so you will be more judicious and more you'll put more energy into it and you'll track it better and pay more attention than anyone else. Now, if you have a company that's already running and going well and you're doing things like hiring and training and sourcing product and dealing with customer support and HR, all this stuff, the last thing that you need is an advertising cycle, because it's a big cycle, it's a lot of moving parts, it takes a lot of energy, it takes consistent monitoring. So if you're already at a stage where the business is up and going and running and making revenue, and you have a resource that you can put towards investing in someone, buying help to support you in growing your business through advertising, I would definitely hire someone, put them through Train My Traffic Person, get them running your ads. My goal, what I feel that I can do the best is hold the container for the business, hold the vision, know where we're supposed to go, and empower people to give them autonomy, give them access to skills, events, content, tell them where I want them to get, like create the system like The Sims, right? And see the big picture and check on each part and tinker. Like I can't be driving on the road every day. I need to be navigating. That's how I do best in running a company of 81 people. If I'm sitting here in front of Facebook ads 24 hours a day, which is, you won't be doing it that much, but then I miss the forest for the trees. I don't see what's actually going on. So I think if you're the CEO and your goal is to push the operation forward and hold the container and vision and create the culture, because it starts with you for the team and all that, you can't also be the sole ads manager. It's hard. Now, if you're scrappy and you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of money and you want to do it yourself, that's how I did it. That's how I came up, was I did everything myself. I did ads myself until I could afford to hire Boris. So it's really about where you are in the operation. If you're at the very beginning, 100%. If it's just you and one or two other people, 100%. If you're at that like 4, 5, 6 level, probably not. Would you agree with that, Molly?
Absolutely. And it really, that question's always hard to answer because it very much depends. Same thing for, should I hire an internal media buyer or should I hire an agency? Well, it really depends. But what I know from my experience is that, I had the opportunity when Ryan Dice hired me. I was an intern. He gave me the skill, he gave me the information and the budget and the time to learn this stuff, right? And it took me 6 to 12 months before, I could really get some momentum going. But that worked well because I was so close to the brand. I was a part of the brand, right? And that is something that you can lose when working with an agency at times, is just that disconnect of they aren't in the office or, your virtual office with you every day. Yeah. So, just a different perspective too and there's a time and place to hire a really experienced media buyer and to hire someone who you're willing to give a chance to. And all of that comes down, like you said, to where your business is, right? Yeah. Like our buddy Ralph Burns, he has Tier 11 Facebook ad agency. Yeah. Check out Tier 11. But they are an agency for people who are already spending like 50 grand plus a month, right? They come in and scale it for you essentially, right? And so that's a really good place for an agency. You already know who your avatars are. You've already got ads that are working. You've got a product line that's built out. So yeah, just wanted to, sort of talk about the different options there. And I think it really depends.
Absolutely. And I want to comment on something that came up earlier, which is everyone sees my cost per purchase and freaks out. You cannot take my data set and apply that to your business for a number of reasons. Number one, I have been in business running ads on Facebook for 6 years with this brand, and I've spent millions of dollars, and everyone in my market has seen the ads. I had a time when I was buying awareness level, top line, new sales for $12. But where I'm at in my business and how far along we are and how much we spend and who we're targeting, it's and the market we're in and the fact that we're selling a premium level product where our average order value is $100. Like, you can't take my data set and apply it to your business. That's a failing model. Every business. Sorry, you want to say something about that?
No, Ez, and I think that's a really important part of Train My Traffic Person. We have a whole week where you figure out exactly what you said, right? Because everyone wants to compare cost per lead, cost per acquisition of a new customer. It depends. It could not depend more from business to business, not just market to market, but you all have different selling systems too. So you got to figure out, what is that success metric, right? And what does that mean for your business? That is your success metric. We can show you what's happening here, but the logistics of every business is different. And a really good media buyer knows how to do that, right? Knows how to figure out what is the success metric that I should be looking at that says, is this campaign good or bad, right? Based off of the financials of the business.
Absolutely. And also another thing to think about is like the sales cycle for a high ticket item is much longer than the sales cycle for a low ticket item. If you're selling a $997 8-week course, it's going to take you from the time you generate a lead to have a sale weeks, if not months. Whereas a $13 rubber spatula is going to be much quicker. So not to get too hung up on that, there's more questions. Spatulas. Flipping.
Thank you guys for being so awesome too. There are a ton of people on here, lots of comments. This is really fun. Thank you guys for spending your evening or morning, wherever it is, where you are with us.
To mirror that sentiment, like we know that the most valuable thing that you have is your time. And when you choose to spend it with us, like, we value that. We appreciate that. We want to ensure that you're getting value by hanging out with us. So thanks, Share this if you like it. All right, next question is this course specifically focused on Facebook ads?
Interesting. So the course is definitely heavy on the Facebook ad side, just because
Facebook's where the cash is at.
It really is. And Facebook is where I believe you can scale to cold traffic in the biggest way. But we do teach Google. We do teach YouTube. So we have Tom Breeze in the course. We've got Mike Rhodes in the course. So we've got people coming to talk about those traffic platforms. And then I just saw someone asked if we cover Instagram. Absolutely. I forget to mention Instagram sometimes, because I think of it as like a placement inside of Facebook. Yeah. But absolutely, we cover Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
And really quick, as we've got people asking, and John, you are just killing it in here. Thank you. People are asking like how much of a time commitment this is. So, that is really up to you. It can be, 3 hours of live content every week, plus I give you homework. So for example, on Wednesday, I might teach ad copy, right? And you go write ad copy for your business. And then you show up on Monday and I critique that ad copy, right? So total with the work you're doing, that might have taken, 5 hours out of your week if you showed up for everything. Absolutely worth it. Way less time than kids spend in school all day, every day, to acquire a skill.
And one more thing to point out about that is like, yes, we have the live calls and live Q&A, but you get access to these recordings. You can go through the recordings at your leisure. You can go back through the course. In fact, funny little thing, I am hiring the way that I do my business is most people start in the support department so they understand who our customers are, what questions they ask, how we serve our market, what our products are. I like to start people there so they get like context for what we're doing. And then people who are, any chance I get, not because most of the people we hire, everyone we hire is awesome, but any chance I get, I take someone from support and say, hey, look, we got social media opening. Can you come learn social? Can you come learn Facebook ads? We bring people up. And so we are currently bringing up 2 media buyers for Facebook and Instagram. And guess what I'm having them do? Go through the recordings from the first Train My Traffic Person and then go through the live Train My Traffic Person this next time when it starts in a week. So I am using this for my own company. This is not like, like we are using this stuff ourselves. That was the point I was trying to make.
and it really is an experience, like we said, as some of, we develop relationships with the people in this group because we spend so much time with them. So we want this to be an experience, not just another course that you're going to buy and never go through. And it's interesting. I don't know if you remember Todd from the last TMTP, but he made it through about 4, 5, 6 weeks, somewhere in there. And he quadrupled his business because of what he learned in the first few weeks. And he had to sit out the end of the course because he had to go, deal with customer service, supply issues. These are good issues, right? But he's like, man, I'll go through the rest of it, but I've quadrupled my business just from the beginning. Exactly. I can't handle anymore.
Okay.
And I am seeing people asking, do I need to have a huge social presence to benefit from this training? Absolutely not. You do not already have to have a social presence to benefit from this training.
Let's see. What are the dates of this course?
So it starts January 30th. So that is 8 days from today. So it will start next Wednesday. And as what we're going to do is we're going to send out a poll to all members to see what time zones they're on and like when they're available. I know a lot of you guys have been asking, when are the live sessions going to be? We're going to pick the time that fits with everybody's schedule. Because, last time we had people from Australia, people in Europe, people in South Africa. So, we want to make sure we're accommodating everybody and your time zone and your schedules.
Yeah, right on. Because we're cool like that.
Yeah.
Here we go. What do you got?
Oh, I'm seeing people are saying that they're loving the live. We have great energy. Take my money already. Thank you guys. I mean, that's a huge part of this. Like, it's why Ezra and I get along and why we want to work together is because it's fun, Yeah. Like, I've always been, friends with Ez because I'm like, it's just so fun to hang out with you. And then we get to nerd out about this stuff. So that's important. It's like, think about your favorite teacher in school. They're probably not your favorite teacher because of what they taught you. I hope we will be because of that. But it's usually some sort of influence they had or like who they were and how they made you feel.
I had this guy, Mr. Puccio. He was, so I went to high school in Hawaii at Kahuku High School. I also went to high school at Ignacio Valley High in Concord. And Mr. Puccio was the film teacher. And when I got thrown out of high school, which I did, which is a long story, they involuntarily transferred they kicked me out. Mr. Puccio wrote a letter on my behalf.
Yeah.
Talking about he hooked me up, man. He was my guy.
He's like, Ezra's misunderstood.
That's exactly what he said. He said I was misunderstood, and I felt very misunderstood at the time. So
school wasn't
shout out to Mr. Puccio.
Totally. I was just good at school because I wanted to be good, but I think we were built for this.
I was terrible. Okay, from Judith. What is your criteria for choosing different types of targeting for various ad sets? Do you just keep adding interests until you get to a certain number of people?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Go back to the replay of this webinar that we held last week for a very detailed explanation of this. Definitely join Train My Traffic Person. We're going to spend 2 weeks on targeting this course because it is that important. But I go through a research process to figure out the targeting, and then I start to input the interests until I get to an audience size that I'm looking for, and then I move on to the next ad set. So we'll definitely talk about that more in the course.
And that was a good answer, Molly. Let's see the next question. Here's a question. Is this course good for learning retail brick and mortar funnels? We're not really, I teach some funnel stuff in one of the... And as I did the next week, teach funnels for info products, for SaaS, and for local businesses. So last time around, we had a clothing store in Train My Traffic Person. We also had people that were working with plastic surgeons, and we had someone running ads for a dentist. So I address all of the business models. I know that's a huge pain point for you guys, and the strategies are different depending on the business models. So we are always going to differentiate there. And let's see. Here we go. Can I have myself and a team member take the course at the same time for one account?
So you do have to have multiple accounts just because this is a mentorship, right? So if you buy one and then three of you show up, it's just, we've got to make sure everyone gets the attention that they deserve.
So much effort.
Right. And so you really have to have separate accounts just because it wouldn't be fair to everybody else.
Yeah. Okay. I think we might be done. Molly, anything we want to say before we wrap up here?
No, I just really appreciate you guys. This has been so fun, and we would love to have you in Train My Traffic Person, smartmarketer.com/Molly. If you want to check that out, Ezra and I just, we want to teach more people this stuff and make the world a better place. I think that's a simple way to put it.
And there's nobody else out there who's saying make the world a better place through advertising. But we actually believe that that is possible by training people how to be better advertisers and better stewards of the internet and how to engage with people in a way that feels good to them and to you as the business owner. My tagline is serve the world unselfishly and profit. I believe that is a description of what happens. I believe if you serve the world unselfishly, you do profit. And we do that through advertisements. Now, real quick, Helen Coyne just commented and said she's in. Welcome, awesome. Helen Coyne.
Welcome, Helen. But yeah, Ezra, just to riff off what you just said, that's something we talk about in the first module. By learning these skills, you do have a responsibility to be aware of the messages you're spreading, right? This is a really powerful skill to have, to be able to show ads. I think as you showed ads to 30 million or so people last year, that is 30 million people that you can, affect the way they think or affect, their perception on something. So, this is, we do have to realize the responsibility in this. And that's something Ezra and I, that's what we care about, right? We want this to be done the right way, and it's more scalable for you, and it feels better to you too if you come from that place.
Totally. It really is. We are the first group of people in human history who has instant access to the rest of the world, essentially, and can spread messages to communities who share similar viewpoints. And it is a wonderful honor and also responsibility. And so join us, smartmarketer.com/Molly. Let us show you how to do that in a good way, in a positive way. Thank you for watching. My name is Ezra Firestone. Molly Pittman.
Thanks, guys. And just FYI, one more time, we are going to close this on Monday night, if not before, right? This class can only get so big without it affecting the mentorship aspect of this. So, Monday evening is last chance. It might come a few days before that. So if you guys want to hop in, just do it. We added the payment plan option so that this is accessible to as many people as possible. Yeah, love you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. And thank you, Ez.
Thanks, Molly. You're the best. Bye, guys. Catch you later.